So thank you for coming for this webinar. And this webinar would be on how you have to complete your CPD. CPD is actually continuing professional development that has to be maintained. Every IOSH professional, every IOSH member has to maintain this CPD. So we will cover what is the CPD, how you have to cover the CPD, and all these details will be covered in this webinar. So this CPD is actually continuing professional development. Every professional, every safety professional has to maintain this CPD. And every year you have to maintain at least 30 hours of CPD every year. That is the minimum requirement for any member, or if you are going to be an IOSH member, or if you are already a member, if you are already a Cert IOSH or Grad IOSH member, you have to maintain 30 hours of CPD. So for getting Grad IOSH or getting Cert IOSH membership, you don't have to have your CPD. But when you are stepping to your CM-IOSH membership, when you are migrating, when you are transferring yourself to CM-IOSH, 30 years of mandatory CPD is required. They will do the audit of that. Whenever you are getting this, your Cert IOSH membership after OTHM or NVQ or NIBOSH ID, they are sending the form of CPD, or they are giving you the login details of CPD, but you don't, that is not mandatory. Okay, but when you are jumping from Cert IOSH to the next level, which is CM IOSH, this CPD is mandatory, and 30 hours of CPD every year is mandatory. And they will be auditing this CPD also. If you are not following this requirement, then you won't be going to the next stage. So CPD is very, very important. See, keep it in your mind. The CPD is free of cost. You don't have to pay anything for this. This is just your professional requirement, which every safety professional has to do. So when you are doing the CPD, just to make a note, CPD is actually a 12-month cycle. CPD begins on the date of joining IOSH or on the renewal date. So this is a 12-month cycle. In this 12-month, in the year, it's not like January you will be beginning the cycle and December you will be ending the cycle. No. See, for example, in this month, if you are joining IOSH or joining IOSH membership, or then your CPD cycle will be beginning from this month. Understand? And then it will be continuing. Then you have to begin from this month, and then it will be continuing to the next 12 months. So this 12 months cycle you have in your hand, and this 12-month cycle you have to have minimum 30 hours of CPD. That is the minimum requirement. And this 30 hours of CPD maintaining, it's not a big task. That is the basic requirement. You can also improve from your 30 hours, but this is the basic requirement. Now, why you have to have this CPD? Okay, I have already given an example of also how to do the CPD and all. We will see that. Okay, step by step we will do this webinar. So why you have to upload your CPD in IOSH portal? See, compliance of IOSH membership requirement. Membership requirement. If you want to get your CM IOSH membership, CPD is very, very important. 30 hours of CPD audit is very, very important. Without that, you will not get your CM IOSH. After your Cert IOSH, even though IOSH tell to maintain this CPD, but normally people are not doing, but you have to do. Okay. And one more thing, you will be thinking, yes, I will be doing my CM IOSH, and on the just 1 month before the CM IOSH examination or CM IOSH enrolling, I will be doing all the CPD all together. That is also not possible. You have to maintain a cycle. Every month you have to do, or within 2 or 3 months gap, you have to. Okay, not like every CPD activity 30 hours you will be doing in one go. That is also not possible. Okay. Now, so this is the most important why you have to maintain your CPD, because of IOSH membership compliance. If you want to get CM IOSH membership, if you have already your Cert IOSH membership, you should definitely have the CPD. CPD is not chargeable. You can do on free basis. Okay, this is just your membership progression. This is just your professional progression. Preparedness of IOSH audit. See, IOSH audit is a mandatory audit for your CM IOSH. For your CM IOSH, they will do your CPD audit. For that, this is mandatory. Then your professional proof of professional development. See, if you are having some kind of professional development, if you are learning something, if you are learning new things, if you are doing an audit, if you are doing some kind of, if you are attending some kind of webinar, if you are attending some kind of improvement, if you are having in your career, so you are documenting your career. That is the greatest thing about this CPD. You are actually documenting your career in IOSH portal. So this is actually your proof of professional development. How far you have grown in your career, what all things you have accomplished in your career, what is your specialty, what kind of things you are learning now. So all this can be documented well in your professional journey in the IOSH portal, and that also you can do in free of cost. So this is very, very important, which IOSH is providing to all its members. Definitely you have to take care of this. Okay. Now, ensuring professional competency is verified. So when you are doing the CPD, IOSH actually verifies your competency. IOSH actually checks your CPD. IOSH actually does the audit of your CPD. So this, you are actually ensuring that someone is verifying your professional qualifications or professional progression. So that is also very, very important. And this you have to do. So your professional growth will be documented and also it will be verified by IOSH. Then this is very much required for your certification, as we told, for getting CMIOSH. See, nowadays CMIOSH is the new thing, because already people have got this cert IOSH. IOSH has also changed the name of grad IOSH into CMIOSH, into cert IOSH, because people are misusing the name of grad IOSH. Lot of changes are coming nowadays. IOSH IPD has already been stopped. Last time we have discussed on that. So a lot of reforms are going on, lot of reforms and lot of innovations are coming into the professional development. So you should also get into that. Otherwise, you will be left from this competition. So get yourself skilled, get yourself updated with all these changes. So maintaining certifications and recertifications, this is also very important. So once you get this Cert IOSH membership, see, you know that getting Cert IOSH membership is easy. Once you get your level 6 diploma like OTHM, NVQ or NIBOSH ID, you'll be getting your Cert IOSH membership. That is easy. For that, you don't have to do your CPD. That is easy. First time you will be getting Cert IOSH membership. But when you go for again, renewal of your Cert IOSH membership, definitely your person who have already got grad IOSH membership, if you're going for renewal of this grad IOSH membership, definitely you have to show your 30 hours of CPD. Even if you want to upgrade, even if you want to transform your Cert IOSH membership into CMIOSH membership, there also CPD is very much required. Okay, so now we will understand how you can do the CPD. Just for your information, this webinar is being conducted by CareerPoint Global. This is an institution which has been established for the past 4 years, and we are into safety training. We have our YouTube channel. I shall send the link of the YouTube channel in the group itself. We are actually training candidates for OTHM, NVQ, then NIBOSH also we help, NIBOSH IDIP and IGC both. Also ISO lead auditor courses we do, medic first aid courses we do. So all these courses that we recommend are industrial valid courses only, the valid courses. Also we help our candidates for getting CMIOSH, Cert IOSH membership. For membership transfer, we help the candidates how to fill the form for membership transfer, then how you have to do your CPD, how you have to progress in your career. And this webinar is conducted every Friday. We conduct the webinar on different topics. So you can actually join our WhatsApp group. Already the people who are attending now the webinar have already joined the WhatsApp group. So you will be getting all this kind of updates in your professional career free of cost. And even if you're planning to any of your courses, any of your career planning, or even if you want to just take a glimpses of how you have to progress your career, what courses you want to do, you can just have a one-to-one session with us, so that we will be actually guiding you which course is better to you and how you have to plan your career. Okay. So now let's go on to what is the CPD, how you have to plan your CPD. Now the CPD activity, now you know that you have to have your CPD activity, which is 30 hours mandatory you have to maintain, and this will be a 12 months cycle. All the things we have done and why the CPD, etc. we have done. Now, how you can do this activity? CPD is basically what it is: continuing professional development. This is your professional development. So in order to get the professional development, how you can have your professional development? So simply by reading articles and books related to safety, you can have your professional development. Then you can research on new topics. You can attend conferences, webinars, seminars, etc. IOSH is conducting all these things. Even outside IOSH also you can attend, which is related to safety or otherwise somehow would be having some relation to safety, you can attend. Then emergency preparedness, how you are preparing for that. Then audits, inspections, and site tours. Even the small site tour that you are doing can be included in CPD activity. But simply you cannot include. There is a way into it. I will tell, or we will discuss how we have to do it. Then delivering or contributing to training, presentations, materials. Then volunteer work, mentoring non-IOSH professionals. Once you are an IOSH professional, you can mentor the non-IOSH professional to become the IOSH professional. That will be also considered as an CPD activity. You can also do the volunteering work that can also be contributed to CPD activity. Now, the biggest point is that all these things you are doing on a day-to-day activity. If you are a working safety professional, definitely you will be doing some kind of trainings or some kind of trainings you will be attending. Today also you are attending a training, some kind of presentation, some kind of materials you will be making. You will be making HSE policy, or you will be updating, or you will be reviewing the HSE policy from your work site. You will be definitely doing audits, inspections, and site tours. You will be actually preparing this emergency preparedness. You will be attending conferences, webinars, and all you will be attending for sure. Then you will be actually reading some of the articles also. But the problem is that you are not recording all these things, even though you are doing like many of the things you are doing in this listed things. You are doing almost 60% of things. Might be you are not doing, not attending webinars, or might be you are not attending conferences because of lack of time as you are working professionals. But most of the things you are doing, 60% of things that is listed here, you are doing. But actually, the problem is that you are not recording these things. So when you are recording these things, in a given format of IOSH into the IOSH website, you are recording these things in a given format which is mentioned in IOSH website, and you are recording these things in that specific format, then your CPD activity is complete. That's it. So already you are doing all these activities professionally. You have to just record it into the IOSH website. Okay. So now I will tell you how you have to record it. The recording, there is a perfect format for that. You have to log into IOSH portal and there is a format for that. Okay. I will not open the IOSH website. Before that, now if you are doing all these activities, okay, you are reading the books, you are reading new topics, if you are attending the conferences, normally you are doing all these things. As I said, 60% of things you are doing now. But when you are doing and when you are recording this for CPD, you have to have certain kind of you have to use certain kind of methodology. Okay, ऐसे ही आप attend करके फायदा नहीं है. You have to use certain kind of methodology. Then only you can record it properly. So we will understand how you have to record it. Okay. So while you are doing any of these activities, for example, while you are recording, while you are reading the books, while you are attending the seminars, or while you are attending the webinars, or while you are doing the inspection at site, or while you are doing any kind of activity, okay, any kind of activity that you are doing, what you have to do is that you have to understand what you have to break that activity into 6 divisions. Okay, that will help you to do all these things. That will help you to record into the IOSH website. You have to understand what the activity is. You have to understand how long the activity can take place. And then you have to understand why I am doing this activity. Because in CPD, there are certain criteria that you have to meet. Are you addressing the behavioral criteria? Are you addressing the personal performance? Are you addressing the audit requirement that is mentioned in CPD? Or are you addressing the professional listening growth that you will be having in your CPD activity? So which activity you are actually meeting, that you have to understand. Then what I learned from the activity. Did I have some kind of improvement after attending the activity? Then how will I use this knowledge going forward? Then you have to use your personal reflection and further learning required. Okay, see, these activities, whenever you are attending an activity, you have to break that activity into 6 parts. You forget about the 6 parts, just understand why you are doing this activity, what is the learning from this activity, how long is this activity being done, okay, and how I can use this knowledge. The learnings, how I can apply it. That is the most important thing, application. Because while you are writing the CPD, it should be in your daily, you should write in such a way that it is reflecting your daily job roles. Okay, we will come to it, don't worry. I think I have confused you, but this confusion will be completely eliminated after discussing this. Okay. So for filling the CPD, first you have to log in into the IOSH portal. I am not opening the IOSH portal because if I am opening it, then my candidate's name would be there. So that is not correct. The privacy of every individual is very important. If you have any doubt of filling the CPD, or whenever you are doing the CPD, you can message us. Okay. We will support you as and when we are having time. So you have to first log in into your IOSH portal. So once you log in into your IOSH portal, you will be getting this My CPD section. Okay, just log in into your IOSH portal. You'll be getting this My CPD section, and then then you'll be understanding the structure. There will be a structure of that. These are all like self-explanatory. Okay, so once you do that, then once you log into the IOSH portal, you have to go to the CPD portal. Once you plan to write your CPD, or once you plan to do your CPD, you must understand what kind of activities you are going to take, like what kind of activities you will be planning to take. There are so many activities, as I told. You can attend the courses, NIBOSH, IOSH courses, etc. You can read technical papers, you can attend workshops, trainings, writing articles, volunteering in professional bodies, developing skills, or even you can actually do the audit at your site, or you can do the inspection at your site. All this can be considered as this one, CPD activity. So what activity you are actually going to plan, that you have to understand. Once you have done that, then you should give the name of the activity. See, clearly give the name of the activity, what activity you are doing. So for example, you are attending a webinar or attending a seminar, or if you're doing a training in your company, or if you are doing, so clearly mention what you are doing, what is the title of that, what is the name of that, what is the activity, everything you have to write. Then date when you are doing it. Okay, then describe it in a short manner, like summary. This topic I am doing, and just a summary. We will explain this with an example. There are two examples. We will explain this with an example. So first you have to give a title, date of the activity, then describe it in a very short manner. Then you have to explain, you have to tell how much time you have spent for the CPD activity. This time is very, very important, because total you have to have 30 hours of CPD. So how much time you have spent for the CPD activity. Then what is the learning outcome? Okay, learning outcome, how did you benefit with this activity, or how did your career benefit by doing the CPD activity? Okay, then if you're doing this, the first section is completed. So after completing this first section, you have to move on to the second section, which is reflection. Okay, so reflection, you have to write briefly how this activity impacts your professional role, what changes it can bring into your practice, and how it aligns with your career objective. This is very important. Reflection section is very important. You have to make a paragraph. There is word limit also for that. Okay, some 500 words, 500 characters you have to write. How this has improved your professional role, and what kind of changes you have brought by doing this CPD activity. Okay, so CPD, there is no single submission for IOSH CPD. That is very, very important. You have to log IOSH periodically, and then you have to update it. 30 hours of CPD you have to maintain. That is very, very important. Okay. See, for example, this is your CPD activity. This is very, very simple example. You can do anything, like you can attend workshop, you can do the training, you can do even inspection, you can do even the workplace inspection that you have done, the workplace audit that you have done, or the report that you have made, or the research topic that you have read. Anything you can. Okay, so this is the activity title. And see, for each title, there is a character, there is a category. Okay, each title that you are actually choosing, there is a category. So what is the category? Workplace learning and experience. Workplace learning and experience. So that category would be there in IOSH. You can just drop down. So many categories would be coming, like training, then auditing. So that category, you can select which category, which would be very much suitable to you. Then you have to describe about the activity that you are doing. You must please understand, you cannot just write, I have attended a webinar. You must write in very practical terms. You have to write it in very practical terms. Like, I have attended a 3-hour workshop focused on risk assessment in industrial settings. This workshop covered key areas, including hazard identification, risk evaluation, control measures, and legal requirements for maintaining workplace safety, practical exercise, and team-based problem-solving activities. So these are all the things that I learned from this CPD that I learned from the CPD activity in a very, very short format, in a very describing format you have to write. Okay, so once you write the description about the CPD activity, then the most important thing that you have to do is that you have to write the reflection. Reflection has the word limit also. First one, you are writing the activity title you are writing, then you have to select the category. Category is already there in the IOSH website. you can select the category which is matching to the title, which is matching to the role you are doing. So once you do that, you have to just describe the activity that you are doing. What is the description? Once you do the description, you have to reflect it. Reflection is a very important task. Okay. See, reflection you have to do. You have to write how it has benefited your career. Then you have to also write in a practical terms, like practically how you have benefited. It should have certain element of practical, like side-based activity, how it has benefited. Then only you will be getting the marks. Okay. See, for example, the workshop has highly benefited in improving my ability to conduct thorough and accurate risk assessment. I gained deeper understanding of how to identify, prioritize workplace hazards effectively. The practical exercise allowed me to immediately apply the knowledge I gained. How this is actually helping you in your practical terms in your site, that is how you have to write here. Giving me more confidence when carrying out risk assessment at work. So this is how you have written. See, this has given me more confidence while carrying risk assessment at work. So how a webinar that you have attended is how actually improving your career and how it is actually reflecting on how you can do the activities more in a more qualitative way at your workplace. That is how you have to write. Okay, कितना अच्छा से आपको workplace में करने के लिए आपको benefit करता है. Since attending the workshops, I have conducted multiple risk assessment at workplace. So this is how I benefited. After attending this workshop, I have done multiple risk assessment, and this has benefited me in a large way. One specific example is recognizing an issue related to improper storage of hazardous materials. See, very, very important. Once I have done this, you have to show a practical demonstration how it has benefited. Just telling that, yes, I have benefited, I have done this, I have done that, the webinar has helped me, blah, 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 that is okay. But you have to give an example. Okay, that is how this webinar has benefited by giving an example. You have to show an example. It is, example is recognized. One specific example recognized an issue related to improving storage of hazardous materials, which was mitigated by introducing more secure storage protocols. I have also strengthened the risk control measures for manual tasks, which has requested in a few workplace injuries over a few months. So this is very important. This practical demonstration, you have to write how by giving evidence. This is nothing but giving evidence. An area of improvement is communicating risk assessment findings more clearly to non-specialist staff. So this is an improvement after doing what kind of improvement I have had in my workplace. I sometimes felt it challenging to simplify technical terms for colleagues who are not familiar with health and safety jargon. To address this, I plan to undertake the additional communication skills training. So not only I have attended this webinar, now I am future planning. I am planning my career in course. So along with this webinar, I would be also planning to attend a communication skills training. So this is how you have to write. Overall, the workshop has been instrumental in enhancing my risk assessment capabilities, which I have already applied in practice. Further learning in communications and collaboration risk assessment will help me to continue growing this area. So this is actually 3 hours. So any CPD activity would be actually covering your this one. Description would be there, reflection would be there. Reflection, I told you have to include your practical knowledge as well, how this has benefited in your site and how give one example for that, and also how you are planning that also you have to write. Okay, so this is all about CPD. This is actually 3 hours of CPD. This is actually 3 hours of CPD. So like this, you have to conduct 30 hours of CPD, and out of that 30 hours, it should be different activity, not a single activity that you have to make it like different activity. If one is about webinar, other would be about attending an online course, other would be about the audit that you are doing, other would be about improving your communication skill, other would be about like improving your teaching skill. All this other would be about mentoring. So different activities you have to do, and that is very, very important. This is for your career development. Okay. Now, any doubts you have? Because our session would be completed. This is a free session, free webinar, free session that I am using in Zoom. This would be like winding the meeting within 5 minutes. So any doubts you have, please open your camera. I cannot talk with a person who I am not seeing. Yeah, tell me.
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So recently I've completed one course of lead auditor for maritime standards. So in that certificate, they maritime standard. Yeah. So in that they have written that CPD hours is 52 hours. So can I put this particular activity as a CPD? Although I'm a technical member now.
See, although you are a technical member, so definitely you have to start writing your CPD, start updating your CPD. Very much mandatory. Even the course hours is 52 hours. Okay. But you cannot directly write, I have done my 52 hours of training, so 30 hours is complete, so nothing is left. Not in that way. You have to understand CPD in a way that you have done your course. Okay. Now you have to understand how much time you have spent for this course. Completely 52 hours. If you are writing, then all your CPD would be done in one go. So that is not the way you have to do. You have to comprehend it and make it like 4 to 5 hours of it. And then you have to understand what you have understood from it. Then write the reflection part of it, and then summarize it into like 4 to 5 hours or whichever hours which you feel it is suitable for that, because it is 52 hours of training. Comprehend it and then write it off like 4 to 5 hours. That would be better. That would be a better way. Even if it is
Yes.
maritime, then no issues, because even if it is maritime, even if it is like oil and gas, or even if it is any other field, every field safety is rare there.
Right.
So you have to understand how this has benefited. If you are a safety professional, how that has benefited in your safety career, because you can write in this way, because any like you are going into maritime field also, I learned about the various safety implications and standard that is relevant in the maritime field, the safety standards that I could utilize in my profession. And then you can give certain examples that would have definitely benefited in your career, that you have to write in the reflection. Also,
Mm-hmm.
what future course you are planning to do. What, not the course, I'm not meaning the courses that you are planning to do. What future learnings that you are planning to do. Like after doing this maritime, I am planning to improve my skills in the maritime field, as I am from oil and gas background. So this and that, I would be migrating my career into that so that I can learn more about it. That way.
Clear, sir. Thank you so much.
Fine. We can see in the next session. Every Friday we will be having a session discussing on various aspects of health and safety. Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining.